I should have known better. In school, there are two things that you should be very concerned about: an open book test and a course that has no primary text whatsoever. I ended up working harder for this one class than, I dare say, most of the other classes in seminary. The 2-hour lectures each week were based on the 3 to 4 hours of movie watching that we were assigned each week. And then you had to have an outline of each movie prepared to be turned in at each class, addressing the specific points that the professor, Dr. Judy Fentress-Williams, felt most passionate about. The final assignment was to take Cecil B. DeMille's Ten Commandments and compare and contrast it to any other film of the Exodus story. And then you had to do a comparison between the stories that the movies told versus the actual biblical account. Couldn't put it off any longer. I actually had to read my Bible. And I'm so grateful for this assignment now, because it forced me to dive deep into the biblical story that I thought I knew so well. And let me tell you, I didn't have a clue. As it turns out, Moses is not Charlton Heston. Moses is actually a lot more like you and me. He has his faults, his flaws. He killed a man and he ran away. He never voluntarily became a slave once he found out that he was born a Hebrew. In fact, he more than likely knew the whole time, as his mother was the one who actually raised him as a boy. So it was time for him to go into the palace. He was never in line, really, to take the seat of power in Egypt. There never was a Nefertiri. He was slow of speech. Many think that he stuttered, had some other type of speech impediment. He most definitely was not an eloquent speaker. He was afraid. When God turned his staff into a snake for the first time, he ran. Who wouldn't? He tried everything he could think of not to do what God was calling him to do, with excuse after excuse as to why he was the wrong guy for the job. God. You know what? I actually have more respect and admiration for this man now than when I thought that he was larger than life. Because ultimately, Moses surrendered. He said yes. It may have taken him a little bit to get there, but he ultimately submitted to God. Sure, he tried to get out. And he sure made some mistakes along the way, but when God called, he ultimately answered yes. And this is what speaks to me like, well, to borrow a phrase, like a voice from a burning bush. The lesson that I take from this biblical account is that God will use whomever God chooses to use to fulfill his purpose. Fault and all. That means God will use you, and he will use me with all our faults as well. Sure, we bring a long list of excuses, just like Moses did. But once those excuses are exposed for what they really are, there is nothing to hide behind. Stuff like, oh, God, I can't do that. I don't know enough. God, I can't do that. You know how busy I am with the kids and with work. God, I can't do that. I'm not good at that. I'm not Brothers and sisters, take off your shoes. The place that you are standing is holy ground. Because anywhere that God calls you is holy ground. Listen to that call. Find out what it is that God has in store for us, and then yell out, "Yes, Lord, here am I." I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I know just as you never left Moses alone, you will never leave me alone. He may not put a staff in your hand and say, "Now go on down to the Hudson River and part that sucker." But he may put a child in front of you who needs a mentor. He may not say to you, "Go tell this person or that person that there's a swarm of locusts on its way." But he may say to you, "See that man over there? Go feed him." All we have to do is be ready. Ready to say, "Yes, here I am." There's one more thing that I want to tell you about this story today. I grew up thinking that I had it down cold. I knew who Moses was because I saw the movie. Friends, it is a rare case indeed that the movie is ever as good as the book. I can't give you a hunger to discover what it says in your Bible. I can't make you have the desire or the discipline to read it every day. But I can urge you not to depend solely on me. Tonight there is a movie being played on History Channel. It's called The Bible. It's a new miniseries.